What's up everyone, Fritz here again with another episode of Sneakerhead Ambition, and today I'm going to be covering a topic that has been getting a lot of attention lately, and that's just generally the state of the resale market and just going over how I am adapting to sneaker botting and sneaker reselling in a recession. As I'm sure you all are aware, right, the macroeconomic situation right now for America and the world is not so hot, right? So pretty much any sector you look in right now, any sales area, any tech area, any non-tech area, right? Any commodities, things are just down across the board, right? So obviously that is going to have a big impact on anything that you're doing, but obviously I'm going to be focusing on how that's impacting sneaker resellers and botters. With all that being said, in today's video, I'm going to go over why this is happening, how long we should anticipate this going on for, what I've been doing to counteract these forces, and then obviously what you can do with whatever situation you are currently in. So why is this happening? All right. Obviously, like I mentioned, the economic situation right now for pretty much the world is not looking so hot. This is just a fact. I'm not giving you any political opinion, but there were trillions of dollars pumped into our economy, right? It's not an opinion, right? I'm not talking about politics on here. It's just a fact. When that happened, right? Obviously, inflation comes, and the price of pretty much every material and the supply chain and pretty much everything for these companies have obviously gone up. You can see this because if you look at prices, right, with all of the inputs to a product going up, right, the prices are going to go up. You can see this with Air Force Ones, Jordan Ones, Yeezys, right? You can see that companies are having to spend more money on the product, so they're having to charge more, right? And then you can also obviously understand, right, that as less capital is in the system, right, just in the system in general, people's spending habits are going to change. So again, companies have had to adjust what they're charging because their prices have increased, and obviously customers having less access to capital are now spending less money. Now, when people's spending habits change, right, there are clear things that you're going to cut from your expenses before others. You're not going to stop spending your rent or your mortgage. Food, water is a must, right, unless you're an alien. And then finally you got transportation, which again, not everybody even has access to. So those things are going to come first. I promise you that the things on the bottom of the list are going to be $300 Yeezys, $250, right? Those are things with your discretionary income that are going to go quick, right? Sneakers that we are botting, right, are going to be one of the first things that people cut from their spending. It's just a fact, right? You don't need them. You can go to any store and get a $50 pair of shoes that, for all intents and purposes, function about as well as any Jordan Retro. So just, I want y'all to be realistic about what's happening. I'm not going anywhere, still running bots, still reselling, still selling plenty of sneakers, but you do need to pay attention to what's going on in the greater economic situation so that you're not just throwing money at things that used to work. I promise you that 3 years ago when I got into botting, pretty much any Jordan that dropped was gonna make money. That's not the case right now. You can clearly see this with the Jordan 1 Heritage that dropped recently. Now, I'm not saying that that's some grail or this heat that people can't touch usually, but it is a red and white Jordan, right? Typically, in the past, you would be able to buy that for $170, right? Bumping them up price lately. And you could get rid of it maybe, $210, $220 on if you had some good buyers, you had a store, eBay used to not have fees, right? There was a lot of situations and scenarios, right, where you could feasibly make a good profit off that shoe. That shoe came out a couple weeks ago now, and it's going for under retail. So if you figure that you were running a bot and you hit the shoe, paid tax, paid shipping, again, keep in mind, not everybody has sale tax, but I'm just going over this in a broad general sense. That shoe, you're losing money on that shoe, right? So you do really need to look at the releases. You need to be more particular for what you're going with. But again, I just want to stress that shoes that a year, 2, 3 years ago would have been quite profitable are now bricks and are going for under retail. So again, I just am trying to give you an example of this in real time. Now, for me personally in this situation, right, I've stopped running for some drops that I had been running in the past, but I also run ACO a lot. So if you are interested in that, just let me know. But you do need to keep in mind that every time you see me run isn't necessarily my cards I'm running, right? So if you see me running for one of these Jordans and you're like, he just lost a lot of money, I'm not necessarily keeping them, right? Now, are there plenty of drops that I still run all of my cards on? Yes, but you do need to keep in mind and do need to just be aware of, like, if you see somebody right now on a channel that hit like 50 pairs of those Jordan Heritage ones, that's not good. Now, I don't want to scare y'all off, right? Like, there's still plenty of profitable drops, right? Restocks are also a big thing right now. There's plenty of profitable drops, right? But the days of just every drop being you kind of being able to make money on aren't gone, but they're not. That's not the reality of the situation right now. I'll go over how long I think this is going to last and everything in a little bit. But just keep in mind that there are plenty of drops, right? New Balances have been doing really well lately. I'm going to go over bricks later, right? Yeezys, some of them are still very profitable. And then you can also just kind of go size dependent on some. But you just really need to be doing your research prior to much more. Like I said, 2-3 years ago, you could kind of be in a cook group and you could almost run for everything on that list. And if you had a good selling network, you were going to be able to make money. And again, that's just not the reality of the situation right now. There are plenty of profitable drops to run for if you have bots that work on those sites. But then again, just keep in mind that it's just not like it used to be, and that's okay. But you do need to be aware of that and just take that into consideration when you're spending on your resources, spending on your bots, and just planning how you're going to act moving forward. We do have the slides coming up, and then we have Yeezy Day. So those are 2 very profitable days coming up that I know I'm going to be running heavily for, and you should be doing the same. I've also started to hit the outlets, discount stores, and foot stores much more, just because right now that's where the best ROI for me is personally. This does not mean that I'm leaving botting. Far from it. I'm continuing. I'm here. I'm still working on it. I still do it pretty much multiple days a week. But like I said, I have adjusted my expectations, and I've also adjusted where I'm planning to get the majority of my profits from for the next several months. I would recommend you doing the same, right? But again, that doesn't mean I'm leaving. I've seen a lot of people in this space be like, I'm quitting, I'm out. That's not the case for me. I'm still gonna be here, gonna be posting what I'm doing in the meantime, what I'm hitting on, what I'm doing to improve. So I will still be here. I do think that this market will recover, just like any downturn in a market, right? When it hits the bottom, right, it kind of clears out the clutter, all the nonsense, all the people who really weren't profitable, and the people that make it through those times often come out much stronger on the other end. So if you have capital to buy some of these shoes that when the prices are going down, I think that's a great option. But like I said, there are other ways to make money reselling sneakers, and I'm focusing on those just a little bit more right now. If you've been watching my channel now for a while, for a year, for a couple months, it's likely that you've heard me talking about and preaching about how you should be diversifying your inventory, right? I've been saying that, and it's relatively obvious now why that should have happened. And I'm gonna give you a couple examples, all right? When I really got into botting as heavily as I am now was at the start of the cerveza sickness, right? So when that happened, right, I had to change. I'd gotten pretty much 95% of my revenue at that point was from outlets, discount stores, foot stores. When that happened and all those stores shut down, I had to change what I was doing, and that was pretty good for me because I had enough inventory, and then I had a lot of time at home to practice botting. So I was able to be, flexible and pivot. Right now, the opposite thing is happening. So again, you want multiple ways to get shoes. Now, if you are in an area where you can't bot, or botting is just not really a fiscally feasible option for you right now just because of your situation, find some outlets. Go into that outlet, scan and look up every single shoe in the store, and I promise you that you'll find some stuff to make some money on. Now, I also promise you that very few of you are actually going to go do that. That's unfortunate, but I guarantee you, if you go into outlets multiple times a week, not once, multiple times a week, and honestly look at every shoe in there, not just the Heat, you'll find stuff that you can flip. After that, go home, sell it on every platform you can find. Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Grail, Goat, StockX, eBay, Amazon, right? Be on every platform. That is the move. If you don't have outlets, right? Get FLX Accounts, go to foot stores, FNLs, DTLRs, right? Get an Amazon selling account. If that doesn't work, go to discount stores like Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, right? Those stores work. I was generating $40,000, $50,000 in sales a couple years ago just off of discount stores. If that doesn't work, right? Go to Goodwill, find used shoes and sell those. All of those ways of getting inventory, right? I know people who strictly do one way and do 6 figures in every one, even used shoes. So quite frankly, I know that this sounds harsh, right? But if you aren't flipping shoes or can't find anything, it's because you're not looking hard enough. I know that some of you don't want to sell used shoes, but if you want to make money, bad enough, you'll do it. And again, some of you might be shaking your head like, what could I possibly find at Ross, Marshalls, Burlington Coat Factory, Goodwill? At Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, right, some of the cleats you find in there, I find on a regular basis. I get for 20, 30 bucks and flip for over 100. Again, do I go into every store and find these? No, but I promise you that if you go enough, you will find these flips, right? And again, that is outstanding ROI. That's better than anything you're gonna get botting. So please look into these things, right? It's not for me, it's for you. But I'm just saying this to articulate the fact that there are shoes out there to flip if you're willing to look for them. I am gonna start posting more content of filming me just in stores, what I'm looking for, how I find it, right, where I sell it. So stay tuned for that. I will have that up in a couple weeks. That is something that I've gotten a lot of questions about recently, and I've been doing for longer than I've been botting at this point. So I will have videos up on that, and just check back in the coming days and weeks for those videos. The next question that I'm getting a lot is, what bot should I buy, and is the bottom in right now? I am just gonna give you a general framework for how to view this because I can't tell the future. I don't know. It could get worse. This could be the bottom. I don't know. But this is what I'll say about it, all right? I think that for what you're spending on a bot right now, right? Just the price of bots is pretty much, every bot is pretty much under 1,500, which is insane if you look at bot prices a year, 2, 3 years ago, right? Pretty much every single bot in the market is down at least 70, 80%. Now, does that mean you should buy it? I think that's a tough question, because while you are getting the best deal that you've ever been able to get, I would argue that it's the hardest it's ever been to get into bot. If you already know what you're doing, I think that purchasing a bot at these prices is an outstanding option, right? Even if you have some experience and are able to hit on drops, you can hit on Shopify, you hit a good number on Yeezy Supply. I think that investing in a bot right now is a very smart idea. I think that the prices are very low. Your risk is not as bad as it was when you were spending 8, 7, 6K on a bot, right? If you're spending 1,000, that loss is a lot easier to eat. Now, when they were 7, 8K, I would argue that, that kind of sucks having to pay that, but at least you were in an environment where there were more profitable drops. So again, I don't have a straightforward answer for you on this. Like I said, the prices are really low right now, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't go lower. And that doesn't mean if things get worse, that some of these bots won't just go under and disappear, right? Bad companies go under in recessions. Botting is no different. So, worst case scenario is the bot goes under and you lose everything, right? But again, that's not as much as it used to be. But this is a good price point, I think, to get in, where you're not selling the farm just to get the piece of software. And then you've still got to get the proxies, the server, the group, you got to pay for the shoe, you got to pay for shit, right? There's a lot on top of it. So I know that's not a straightforward answer. I think that it's a pretty good time to buy, but that's not to say that there aren't still risks. I am going to make the prediction that in the next 6 to 12 months, I'll say, that one of the top 5 bots on the market just completely goes under. I don't have any inside information on that. I have no predictions on which one it will be, but that's just going off the fact that in tough financial times, companies go under, right? So that's my prediction. I do think that one of them will probably go under. Like I said, it's not me being cryptic or anything and saying that it's going to happen, but I just think that's a likely scenario that'll probably play out. You also want to manage your expenses in times like this, right? You want to cut where you can. I am fortunate enough at this point that I do own the bots that I use. So really I just have to keep up with those monthly renewals. So that's not that bad. If this had happened to me a couple years ago when I was renting and spending a significant amount on rentals, that would have been tough. But again, the prices are down, so the rentals are pretty reasonable right now. So just try to keep your expenses low. Do what you can to cut where you can. Eat your ramen if you need to. But that's kind of my situation. I know that y'all know I have some sponsors too. I still do pay for PROXIES, but I am fortunate enough that I have some sponsors. So just try to cut your expenses that you can. That's obviously a great thing to do in times like this where it can be harder to make profit. So just kind of look around at everything you're spending on, right? Try to really look at your finances closely, see what you could cut without really cutting too much performance, see what you're getting from different proxy providers. like I said, just basically take a close look at your finances and make sure you're saving where you can. I do think that sneaker prices will return, right? This isn't an end all be all. The economy's not gone forever, right? I think I listened to something the other day that said even Germany after World War II had gotten their GDP back up in 5 years after World War II. So again, I'm not saying that like we're done for years, but I would adjust my expectations for the next 6 to 12 months. Again, that's not to say that you won't be able to find profitable shoes. There's still plenty of profitable shoes to go after, right? It just depends where you look. So just keep that in mind, right? This isn't going to end tomorrow, right? The trend is pretty clear. People just aren't spending as much. So I do think that this will continue for another half year, full year, but there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And like I said, if you're able to continue your business through this, you'll likely come out stronger on the other end. And I actually anticipate that we'll start seeing a lot of new bots soon, right? Again, when recessions happen, people kind of clear out the clutter, new companies start, you get your next kind of bull run and next 5 to 10 years of profitability. If you look back at 2007, 2008, a lot of great companies were started during that time. So again, I'm not to say that recessions are fun, but it is a natural part of just kind of the human experience. So take it for what it is, do what you can to survive, and hopefully I see you on the other side. As always, a massive shout out and thank you to my sponsors. As always, I do mention this in my videos. I have plenty of sponsors for residential proxies, ISP proxies, Gmails, Flex accounts, right? We talked about that today. You might need those. So just check that out below. Again, all the companies that I work with, I've used prior to getting sponsored by them. Great companies that I really do feel confident promoting to y'all. I can't tell you how many proxy companies I have turned down as sponsors just because I'm not going to use them, right? If I'm not going to use your product, I'm not going to pump it to y'all. So just check the information section below. Like I said, pretty much anything that you need for sneaker botting, I work with a quality company that will cover your needs. So just check that out, right? I've got Discord links, discount codes. So anything you need, you should be able to find down there. Anyways, that's all for this portion of today's video. As always, leave any comments, questions, debate topics in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Like I said, I really am going to get back to posting 2 to 3 times a week on this channel, so hopefully you guys keep checking back. And feel free to follow me on my other social media accounts where I do post daily: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So there's information on there. If you've been missing me on here, I've been posting on there. And like I said, if you have any questions, I am going to be doing an episode soon where I've posted on Instagram and Twitter. Just give me any questions or topics that you would like me to cover. I am going to do an episode that is literally just questions from followers and subscribers. So if you have anything that you are specifically interested in or really want to ask me, feel free to drop that in the comment section below or shoot it to me via DM on another platform. And like I said, I do have a day in the life of video coming up in the next couple days. So I'll either get that up Saturday or Monday. So check back for that. And until next time, see ya.